Hello, hello. I'm coming to you today from my conservatory because it's warm and light in here and dark and cold in my office. And I don't want to, so there you go. I've also just realised I've got my sunflower cup and my sunflowers in the background. That was not intended, but I'm not mad about it. We are going to be talking about why some people struggle to get traffic to their websites, and the reason being is because with all of Etsy's recent updates and the like, the conversation has once again started up about the need to be elsewhere other than just Etsy. I focus on a website, but I'm not just talking about a website. This could be anywhere else off of Etsy that you sell. And I will warn you now, there might be some tough love involved in this. And for anyone who's new here, hello, I'm Kim. This is the Coffee and Craft podcast. It's where I rock up every week with coffee. It's tea again. And I talk to you about all things to do with running a handmade business because that's what I do and I like to talk about it. Just so that you know, everything that I talk about is from the point of view of a handmade business. So if you are not in the business of handmade, take what serves you and leave the rest. And if you are a regular here, hello, how are you? How's the weather? I'm British, I've got to ask. It is changeable here. Sunny currently, but also very windy. So, bit of information that nobody asked for. Right, let's crack on then. I've got my notes as always, because I've got to keep the squirrels in check. Right, whenever I talk about running a website, starting a website, there's usually two big issues that I see in the comments section or anywhere else. And that tends to be one, the cost, which is valid, and two, the fact that people don't like having to do the work of sending traffic to their website, which, I mean, I get it, don't get me wrong. If I could do it without having to do any work, I would as well. I'm not stupid. But trying to get traffic to anything or to do anything or to promote anything online these days takes work. The problem with that though, with regards to the SEO, I don't understand Google search by any stretch of the imagination. However, it has not escaped even my knowledge that it's changed recently, and I've seen, Google, YouTube, ironically, has tried to suggest a lot of videos to me here on YouTube about how bad Google has suddenly become. So I'm aware that a big change has happened and it's turned it all to poop. But I've not really clicked on any of them because I'm not interested. But then from someone who uses Google search, I have noticed the issue from someone who uses it. The results have changed incredibly. The amount of nonsense that you get served up, AI drivel. Some of it doesn't even read correctly. And yet these are the things that Google search will suggest to you on page one. It's a whole mess. So if somebody has made Google search and SEO, one of the main ways that they drive traffic to anything, it must be a whole headache. And so yeah, in general, everything's a mess and it's hard. Great, Kim. Didn't really need you to point that out or even remind us. So what works now? Well, again, as I said from the very beginning of this video, this is from the point of view of a handmade seller and what I think might work for other handmade sellers. So what I'm about to say may not work for you if you are not a handmade seller. Do you catch my drift? So yeah, what does work now? Regular viewers here will know exactly where I'm going with this. Community, darling. And that's what people don't like to hear, because community is work and it takes time. You see what I mean? This is the tough love element. You're getting it right now. I mean, the good news about building a community online is that you can do it in many ways, on many platforms, in whatever way suits you, in whatever way you like. You can be as creative with it as you want to be. There is no right or wrong. I know that a lot of the time, myself included, have mentioned short form content or even video content in the past. That's just because right now, that's the form of content that works the best. However, it's not the only form of content out there, and if that doesn't suit you, you don't have to do it. I mean, you might choose a social media platform, or you might choose a mailing list, or you might choose Pinterest. I use YouTube, whatever floats your boat. However you do it, there is one thing you must be 100% okay with. It's going to take time. I don't know if you heard that. My dog is right next to me. He snored. Anyway, it takes time. There is no such thing as an overnight success. And before anybody gets in the comments and talks to me about, well, if you go viral, you can be an overnight success. Nah. Don't buy it. Not for a second. Every person who has ever gone viral has gone viral because they've made a thing, because they are in the game. They will have been making things and been in the game for a usually long period of time prior to that. Building up their, what's the word I'm looking for? Skills. Doing the things, putting work out there, some of it really, really bad, but doing the thing anyway. Case in point, because a lot of people say to me, it's okay for you, Kim, you have an audience. I didn't always. I've mentioned before when I first got started on social media, I was lucky if I got 5 likes on a post, and most of those people knew me in real life and had to because they're supposed to. People like my husband, who incidentally is still the first person that you will see giving me a thumbs up on all of my videos. He may do that, but he doesn't watch all the way through because he has the attention span of a gnat. But if you are watching, darling, I love you, thank you very much, I appreciate you. But I started my business, I've been selling on Etsy for a long time, but I started it as a business 11 years ago. And it was only 3-4 years ago that I started getting traction. So what's that? Math. 8 odd years of slugging away and doing the thing before I eventually took off. And even then that was a slow takeoff. But don't let that put you off. One of the reasons why it took me that long was because I decided to start my business when my kid was a baby, and that alone will slow down progress. Also not helped by the fact that I rebranded and kind of started again, not once but twice. The pandemic was in there somewhere. There have been a few false starts which have slowed my progress right down. But even so, I still made it. I still got that momentum going. And you can too. But it takes time, and you've got to get rid of this whole idea of getting started and taking off from the get-go. That doesn't happen for anyone. And every person that you're looking at now that has made it and has got the audience, I promise you, they'll have years behind them where they were slugging away and talking to no one, but they kept on doing it. Ultimately, to be building your business, you need to be focusing on building a community around it, or being a part of a bigger community, and you need to let it take time. So if you haven't got an audience yet, if you're just starting out yet, you need to pick a platform, you need to lean into audience, and you need to be prepared to be doing this for the next year, couple of years, and be okay that it's gonna feel like you were talking and getting crickets back for a little while. But it's not as if you'll be talking to no one, talking to no one, talking to no one, and suddenly you take off. It builds up gradually. You'll be talking to no one, and then you'll be talking to someone, and then you'll be talking to a couple of people, and then you'll be talking to a group of people, and then you'll be talking to a bigger group, and on and on. And as you go, you start to feel that you're not talking into the void. It happens gradually, but it happens. So you need to make content for your community in whatever form that you choose and that comes in. And you need to think about what your viewers will want, what your community would want, and what your buyers would want at the end of the day. Yes, you want to sort of merge that with what you also want, but I do see too many creators just focusing on what they want to do and not on what, for example, their customers want or their viewers want. But the trouble with that is that they then get upset when their viewers or their customers aren't interacting with their content, and sometimes you want to say, well, respectfully, you've made it for you, not for them, so why should they? There's a balance to be met all the bloody time. Do I get it right? Sometimes, you know. Can you stop creaking? I don't think I'll be filming in this room again, it's too creaky. But if you want to know what kind of content to make, I mean, you need to think about 3 different overarching buckets of kind of content. There's the educational content, which I guess is what this falls into. There's entertaining content, things like skits and silly memes and things like that. Or there's relatable content, which, you know, same could be said. And sometimes they kind of merge into 2. I mean, I've spoken before about edutainment, which is where entertainment and education schmooze. And what was the other one that I sometimes talk about? Retailtainment, which is obviously selling and entertainment. But you always want to be giving something. In fact, sometimes you want to be giving more than you're asking for in return, if that makes sense. I know that makes sense. I don't know why I'm saying that. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, I give up. This room is too creaky. My dog is too snory and I'm too grumpy, so I'm gonna disappear now. But because I've been getting these sorts of comments, I needed to make this video because there is no easy way around it or nice way to say it. If you want to build a community for your handmade business, to make it a bit more evergreen and to future-proof it for years, you are going to have to build a community around your business if you haven't started to already, and it's going to take time, and you're going to have to be okay with that. Flies. That's another reason why I will not be filming in here again. If you have not been put off by this chaos, then think about subscribing and I will see you on your homepage another time. Otherwise, if you'd like to jump straight into another video, this one, where I talk about other ways of how I drive traffic to my website, might be of interest to you. And if so, I will see you over there. Ta-ra!